So I'd rather be single and date myself, be independent, be happy.
I don't think that that's a healthy way to be dating. And a lot of like boss bitches, they're that way.
I'd rather have my standards set high than settle.
Earlier, that's not what you were like, nah, hard pass.
Yeah, hard pass, but
No, but see that, like, you know, you're wishy-washy right now.
So if it's a slim percentage, then you might never find that guy.
At that case, then I'm just gonna be single and like have like 23 dogs.
I mean, she's no saint either. Come on, we all know that. Come on, half of Instagram knows that.
Oh, wow.
All right, but
Gross.
I mean, like, if you're an OC, then you know that. I'm just kidding. No, they both changed a lot. No.
Not kidding.
She's a changed woman too. It's all joke. She's not.
She's ready to get married.
She is. No, honestly, and it's kind of like they've both been through that phase where they had all their fun and that kind of like that ratchet, exciting lifestyle, but now they're looking for stability. They both have, their stable careers, and they want to be able to build that foundation for their 30s and 40s. I guess it's mid 30s and 40s.
What's about this though?
Oh yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
It's like, okay, so it really depends on the women. Okay, so when I was younger, I didn't have shit going for me. I was in college. I was living like whatever, and I was just like being, like living my life, living my 20s, like experiencing men to men. And like now, like I'm 26, right? So I own my own business. I work corporate. So at this point, I just want to settle down, because prior to that, I did not want to settle down because I wanted to basically live my life. Yeah. I wanted to experience everything in life. But like right now, it's more of like I want a partner that will like support me and benefit me throughout my whole journey of pursuing my own company and navigating me through my success and my dreams, my goals. So I don't necessarily want to hook around and just like.
When did you come to this realization?
Probably like. Probably like 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
So we started dating or talking before that. So you just wanted to fuck at that time. How come you didn't let me hit then? Shit, bro.
Okay, the reason why I didn't let you hit because I barely knew you, and you were listening to Final Fantasy. Because
what is wrong with that?
How am I supposed to fuck in bed if Final Fantasy is playing in the background? You know what I'm saying?
Dude, like, I have made a girl like come really hard on like Kingdom
well,
Hearts music.
A girl, well, that's not me. But anyways,
dude, it works.
It works.
You've probably done something like that before, right? Like
no, I don't like music.
No.
He gets distracted really easily.
Yeah.
It was our mutual friend actually. That one chick. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
It was Kingdom Hearts, bro. It works. Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyways, so Final Fantasy. So because Final Fantasy.
It's like for me, like I need to get to know the guy for more than like a month or two before I start hooking up with them, because for women we're more emotional. Guys are more logical in that sense. And it comes back to like the play where like women and men become friends, because women are more emotional, men are more logical, and sometimes we need a little logic in our lives. Because
if that's the case, then how come like if a man cheats, then you would just leave him? You know that like men just want to have sex just for fun or just for pleasure, right?
That's why a lot of women, they stay in the relationship after a man cheat, because they know that it's just physical. But like for people with high standards and high morals, like we just know our worth and
like
we tend to leave. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like me, like that's why we never hooked up, because for you it was just gonna be physical. For me, like I might catch feelings.
How did you know it was gonna be physical?
Because you're a fuckboy. You were a fuckboy back then.
Well, I told you I was like being done with being a fuckboy.
Well, the way you were talking.
It was actually because of you I started being a fuckboy again.
Oh, explain that, please. Elaborate. Please, elaborate.
Because I was just like, okay, like no one's gonna believe in my shit. Mm-hmm. No one's gonna believe I'm changed. I just want to like go be loyal and whatever bullshit. Then I'm just gonna be a fuckboy. So I just played around until I found the one that was like actually going to respect me and really trust me.
So you think I didn't respect you?
Yeah, kind of. You were fucking another guy at the same time, right? So.
Exactly. I don't fuck multiple guys at the same time.
But she'll talk to them.
But yeah,
she'll talk to them.
Isn't that the same? Isn't that still kind of disrespect then?
No, like we went on a date to Applebee's, you know?
Oh, the Applebee's.
We went on a date to 626 Night Market too. So we went on many dates.
You took me on 2 dates?
And I slept in your bed. But we didn't hit.
Because I didn't let you hit.
She actually,
I know.
this happens quite a lot.
The
though.
thing with me is I
She'll
have
be like,
a
she'll
lot.
let you sleep in her bed, but then that's it.
I have a lot of self-control. That's the thing. The thing with my game back then is like I let guys chase, and after they cannot, it's a wrap. That's it.
But the thing is, like, you made it seem like you wanted a relationship.
I did want a relationship, but like you were such a fuckboy that I looked at you and I was just like, no.
But you know,
I
like
can't.
if you could just be honest, right? Then it would avoid all these issues.
Yes, but
Right.
you were way toxic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was
Wait.
toxic as well, so we were both in the wrong. If we're being honest.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you just came to this realization that you wanted a boyfriend to really be loyal with 2 years ago, and then I fell out of that time frame, then wouldn't it be kind of safe to say that it's a little bit toxic if you knew that you just wanted to play around and you just put this guy on like the back burner? You're just like, okay, he's just there sitting in my bed, laying in my bed, but I'm not gonna fuck him, I'm not gonna pursue him any further, I'm gonna pursue this other guy.
I didn't pursue anybody at that point because my mentality is I like guys to kind of like chase me. And at that time when I don't know, I
attention,
was
right?
the attention. I craved the attention back then. 4 years ago, I was a different person. That's why I said people can change over time because back then when I was talking to two people at once, I craved the attention, not the intimacy because I didn't feel any mutual connection, emotional connection with neither. So in that sense, for me to be intimate, I have to have some kind of emotional connection with the guy. So now it's really hard for me because never mind.
It's really hard because you've been such a hoe now.
I can't expose anymore.
You're emotionally attached to men. So
Yeah.
like when you're a hoe and then just being fucking a lot of guys and just, you know, doing your thing, then do you feel like your soul is kind of like shared with many guys? Because I feel like that affects women a lot more than men.
Yeah, so like when I talk to multiple guys, I don't sleep with them. I talk to them because when I sleep with them, I catch feelings, and I don't like to catch feelings from multiple people. So that's why back then I was the way I was. I just talked to multiple
Do you think you
people.
faked those feelings with me though? Like where you made it seem like you liked me and stuff like that?
Okay, in my honest opinion, back then, 4 years ago, let's say 4 years ago, I'm going to emphasize that because I was a different person 4 years ago when I talked to you because I thought you were a fuckboy, I thought you were toxic, and I thought this is going to be a fucking roller coaster and it's going to be fun because in human nature, we love challenges, we love competition, we love to go on rides. No one wants to go on a fucking roller coaster that goes like 2 miles per hour, right? So like you really put me on a roller coaster and I went through ups and downs and it made me very interested. But at the same time, I knew that if I were to be intimate with you, if I were to pursue anything with you, I would get my heart broken because you are the way you are back then.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, my question is that like, given that you said that was toxic and you knew that you didn't want to be in a relationship and you faked those feelings with me, you made it seem like you liked me and stuff like that. Would you consider that a little bit toxic on the man's behalf? Like, for
Yes,
example, me?
I did admit I was toxic. I didn't become less toxic until a year ago, to be honest. But
So you're a changed woman.
yes, but back
Okay.
then I did start to develop feelings for you, but I knew the way that you were. So I protected myself and I did not pursue us because I knew you would emotionally traumatize me in some sort of way.
Got it.
Yeah, I think girls can do that though. Like, even though you might catch feelings, you emotionally distance yourself because you're like, this is not good.
Yeah, but we still stay natural and like stay casual with you because we like the chase. We like the, what's it called? The stimulation that you provide us. But
Ups and downs.
attention, yeah, ups and downs. But at the same times, if we want something serious, we're not gonna, like what I did with you.
Got it. So we can conclude from this that it was bilateral toxicity, right?
Yeah.
Let's just leave it on that note.
Yep. I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
I gotta go now.
Interesting.
That was pretty.
That was good.
That was pretty. Fuck. What's the word?
Entertaining.
That was heated. A little bit.
Oh, a little bit. But it wasn't too bad. I know, dude. She can get a lot more heated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was relatively sane.
Yeah. For new, that's not bad.
That was the most calm
Yeah, that was actually
conversation
pretty
about it.
chill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. For new, that was very chill.
Wait, you felt heated? I was like, oh, this is a normal.
Yeah, I actually thought that was a
heated,
good
but-
conversation.
Yeah.
Not heated, but you know, a little tense.
A little tense,
You know,
yeah, a little tension, but it's not bad. I mean,
Yeah.
all hard conversations have a little tension. That was a hard conversation.
You want to take another shot? I've been to your house one time.
Oh yeah, you have.
I think it was my fave was really fucked up.
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, that guy. That guy's
Yeah.
a really nice guy.
Legend.
That
The
was- I was
legend.
I keep saying I'm a really nice guy.
I had a good impression of Saint, even though
Yeah.
he's a legend fuckboy.
Allegedly.
As the non-fuckboy fuckboy.
Yeah. Not fuckboy.
Oh no, like as a fuckboy. Some respect, yeah. But yeah, like I guess one question while New's in the bathroom is
Sure.
you know how you hooked up with my ex and stuff like that.
Mm.
We weren't really like chill. We didn't know each other like that well. But
Yeah.
would you say like as bros, say for example, if it was like Noah, okay,
Yeah.
like your best friend, if he had an ex-girlfriend and then she was like spread on her fucking back naked, just like fuck me, baby.
Yeah.
Would you be like, yeah, all right, I'll fuck you?
His ex.
Yeah, his ex, and she's hot.
And
She's hot.
how long have they been broken up for?
It's been like, let's say like 2 years. Let's be generous.
2 years.
She's just like spread naked, and then you didn't have a girlfriend. You didn't have Stephanie. You're single.
I don't know. I feel like I would go off into the restroom real quick and then call him and be like, "Yo, Chip, this is happening right now. Do you care or not?"
Is it cool?
Yeah. And knowing Chip, he's pretty honest, so he'll be like yes or no. If he says no, then I'll go back and be like, "Here, put your clothes on, close the legs." And then,
Yeah.
All right, let's ask the fuck girl. I mean, ex fuck girl. So if there's a girl, like, how close are you guys? You guys are pretty close.
We're friends. Like we haven't known each other that long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Who's your best friend? You would say.
My best friend would be Nina. If you are listening to this, I love you so much.
Okay. So say for example, she has an ex-boyfriend.
Mhm.
They broke up for probably 2 years.
Yeah.
And then you have you've had a like crush on him. He's naked on your bed. His dick is out. He has a big dick, and he's like, let's fuck. And you're like, oh shit, I'm getting a little wet.
And he could last more
What
than
would
30
you do?
seconds.
I would say no.
You say no.
Yeah.
Why?
The thing with me is like even though like the person I am, don't say shit, but I have a lot
How
of
fuck girl you are?
self-respect for myself and a lot of morals for myself. So I would only sleep with the guy if I have genuine emotional connection with him, not just physical, but emotional.
All right.
So every guy you've slept with is emotional?
Yeah.
Okay.
wait, what if you and that ex or your like two's ex were talking for like a month and you did have an emotional connection?
That was my question. All right, good shit.
Doing your job for
So
us.
the thing with me and my girls is very different because we have like a strong loyalty with each other. So no.
So there's a girl code, right?
Yeah. With
There
me
is a
and my
girl
best
code.
friends, it's a strong girl code. We don't even follow that guy or talk to or even look at that guy.
There's a question I always had. Like, do you guys think the bro code is stronger or the girl code? Let's just go around the room.
It depends on what aspect you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like just like the example I just gave.
Also, loyalty.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure for
Like a best friend.
most girls, if like that situation presented itself, you wouldn't put yourself out there because they've dated that person. You know that they've had feelings for them, and like you've seen them go through all that, like the crying, the fighting. Because obviously, when a guy and girl are fighting, you go to your girls and you complain about it, and they've seen you go through all of that, like all the emotions and everything. And again, like we've talked about how women are more emotional, so we wouldn't cross that line. And I'm saying for most girls, because there are some friendships where they don't give a fuck and they'll do it, but I think in that sense,
Me personally, I've seen more girls like they would just like fuck their best friend's ex-boyfriend and get with them, and they would just cut off their best friend.
Yeah,
for
it
that
just
guy.
like depends on like how you prioritize your girlfriends. Because for me, my girlfriends are like my number one priorities, so I would not do something like that to them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you guys think, guys?
I
You guys think,
actually think girl code is stronger. I personally,
Really?
yeah, I've observed a lot of dudes, like one of their homies breaks up, and then that girl just gets swarmed like fucking honey with a bunch of flies. Like those guys had no
By
loyalty.
the best friends.
Yeah, they're just like a close friend group. Just like they all just start swarming that girl, DMs, everything. I've seen it many times. Yeah.
I know my best friends would do that. I mean, obviously you would because we're not that close.
Right.
But like if it's like my best friends, like they would have like strong bro code. They would not do that. But
it does
I've
depend
seen-
on the person, and it's all anecdotal. Like I've seen more one way, you've seen more the other
Yeah.
way. But yeah, from what I've seen, yeah, there's a lot of dudes out there. They break that bro code pretty easily.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. I guess like before we get to our last topic, do you guys have anything you guys want to talk about?
I think I'm good.
Okay, let's just get to it. It's just getting kind of long. All right.
Men are waking up and realizing the American woman mindset is altered, skewed. It's bad for business. It's bad for marriage. It's bad for life. Why is that? Because the modern day woman is very masculine. Society and the feminists have skewed and altered the matrix into having women believe get a good education and a good job and you don't need a man. And you're seeing the percentages and the numbers and statistics go up. More and more people are single and less birth rates are happening in America. And men are tired of it. So what's happening now, men are getting passports and going overseas to find a woman, and American women are upset and sideways about it. Number one response is, they can't handle us. And for once in your life, you're correct. They can't. Nobody else can handle you. And on top of that, nobody else wants to handle you. When a woman says this, nobody can handle me. That's why they're doing it. They're mad, they're bitter. What is the outcome that you want? Because if you're a woman that's...
All right. Why I'm bringing this up is I don't know. You make pretty decent money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on this?
So like the thing with me is
do you think you're pretty masculine?
I would say I'm pretty masculine, and I kind of... Okay, so with my past experience, I've dated men who were pretty masculine, and I turned them into betas somehow because of my masculinity and my alphaness. So I tend to be a very alpha kind of person in relationships and in friendships as well. So with me, I want something from a man that I can't have. Like, let's say, for example, like I make X amount of money. I can cook. I can do whatever I need to do to like be independent, right? And for a man to come into my life, he has to provide a lot more than that. So my standards are quite high. So I don't know if I'm just staying single because I can provide for myself, or I need like some kind of like emotional, beneficial kind of...
Yeah, wouldn't you say that relationships provide you with an emotional support? Like,
yeah.
Yes, nowadays, like, women have jobs and they can take care of themselves. Women cook, you know, all this and that. But I think in terms of getting into a relationship, it's more so for the emotional benefit.
Yeah. So, like, owning my own business, like, I am a very, like, assertive person. So, in that case, I want a man who can just support me, not financially or any other way, just emotionally, because that's the only thing I'm lacking is a partner that supports me. So I don't really need anybody to basically be like a sugar daddy or, you know, like in that sense, because women nowadays, like, we've kind of owned up to the fact that like men can't do shit and like they can't bring much to the table, so we kind of have to do it on our own. So like when we start to do that on our own, we kind of just higher our standards, and it's really hard to find a guy to meet that standard because we already provide everything for ourselves at that point. So modern dating nowadays is really difficult because some women are just like, you know, quote unquote boss ass bitches. So like we don't need men, but at the same time we need that emotional support. We wanna work, but like come home to some cuddles, to some like, you know, like some kind of like
Come home to like some affection,
Yeah,
but at the same
affection,
time, like
yeah.
you still want this guy to be in a leadership role.
Yeah, exactly. Like kind of be like leading in the relationship, but at the same time supporting us. But at the same time, we don't need them, but we want them. You know what I mean?
So with that being said, then would you say that as women, they make higher salaries, then it makes it harder for them to find the one,
Yeah.
right?
For me, that's the case because I not necessarily belittle men who make less than me, but at the same time, I would prefer them to make more than me or the same as me, because I don't like to take care of people, because I once dated a homeless guy and I'm gonna be honest, I'm traumatized. So
Talk about the high standards.
like at one point really wanted to be that nurturing girlfriend who provides and stick through them by, you know, like hell and back, but at the same time it was very traumatizing. I just can't.
Well, did that person provide you with emotional support that you were looking for?
He really did provide me with emotional support. That's why like I stayed with him. But at the same time it was like financially draining. So I can't have that. Like, the guy needs to be independent himself. I need to be independent myself. Not more than me, like maybe the same as me, but like enough to take care of himself.
What's like the ballpark?
Yeah.
What's the ballpark like for acceptable criteria of like?
As in like income?
Yeah, income.
So what I make now, I'm not gonna say, but like if he's gonna make almost the same as me, then just basically if he can take care of himself, like have his own place, like provide his own food, provide his, you know, health insurance, all that shit, you know, like I'll be fine. But if a guy just comes to me and he's like, you know, I need
like 80K, 90K,
more than that, maybe like
more than that?
Maybe like 6 figures.
6 figures.
Yeah.
Okay. So 100K, you're okay.
No.
But do you know the percentage of like men who make like, or just people in general that make above 6 figures?
I think it just depends on like the person you are.
Wait, what is that percentage? I'm curious.
Yeah, I want to know.
It's about 10%. So top 10% of men, or I think maybe even lower.
Is that throughout America or in California?
That's in America. And
okay.
So if you have like a guy who's, I'm pretty sure you don't want an obese guy, right? You want a guy who's pretty fit, like doesn't look like he's just got like car wrecked or train wrecked on his face, right?
Yeah.
So that
Are you saying
percentage,
that's like 1%?
I mean, I've dated
is
some
gonna drop a
questionable
lot more.
guys. Yeah.
yeah, and plus like that's men and women, 10%. So if we were to probably not cut it in half, but probably like just like subtract like 3%, because obviously men make more than women on average. So if that's the case, then it would probably be like 7% of men. So with that 7%, if you were to find a guy who's like skinny and like pretty like fit and stuff like that, then it would be probably like you're looking at like the top 5% of men, top 3% of men. So I mean, with that being said, like wouldn't it be kind of hard to find that guy, or you're like, okay, like I'll wait until that happens?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to find like men that meets my standards, because that's why I've been single for so long, because a lot of guys, they don't really meet my standards, and I kind of go with the flow with that. So when I realize what they bring to the table versus what I bring to the table, I just kind of dip. But
so Stephanie, you probably don't make as much as her, right? Okay, because she's in software engineering or whatever, computer science. What do you do again?
I work in insurance. I used to be a teacher though, so
okay.
It was
so
not a
I'm
lot.
thinking probably like 50 or 80K or something like that. So with that amount, then do you think like you would want to find someone like equal or better than you?
I think it's just but I think it goes back to just like being able to take care of yourself, because I don't want to feel like I am like okay, so like in terms of like us, right? Like I cook and stuff, I clean, but it's not like I don't want to feel like I have to take care of them in every aspect, like also financially. Like I understand that being in a relationship, you take care of someone like emotionally and sometimes like physically, but in terms of like having to work all day and then seeing that like, oh, I also have to like provide extra for you, and let's say like a lot of men like in the video, they might not be providing like a lot to women other than what they call like financial support, right? They're not super emotional people, so they can't provide that for people like other women. So I think a lot of times when you're seeing like people going overseas, and I don't know if you guys watch 90 Day Fiance, but like those people that go overseas, they're the people that like they don't have a lot to offer, and they're upset that women aren't like at their feet and like begging to be with them. And I'm not saying that that's for every case, but in a lot of times when you're watching that show, you see that like there's this guy who has like, he's literally a felon, and he was like, oh, I don't know why women don't want to date me. And then he goes overseas, and then he realizes like, the person overseas is like, well, I want you to take care of me financially, and he's like, well, what the hell? Like, what the hell is this? And then he expects like for that person to basically be submissive.
But
So-
let's assume like a guy is able to be the breadwinner, like Tran, right, or Saint. Then with that assumption, then like what does he bring to the table other than like finances for you?
No, he's actually a really good emotional support. Like, we talk about a lot of things. Like the first time that we hung out, like after like me ghosting him or whatever, that conversation, and it was just like, that wasn't even a date, and it turned into a date because of how long our conversation went, and it was just because of like we were talking about almost every aspect of our lives. Like, would you agree? Like, we talked about a lot that day.
I would disagree because it was a date. But
it
yes,
it was not a date.
it was a date in my head.
Okay, in your head.
And it lasted 13 hours. So yes.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah,
For a date?
we talked. Yeah, we talked a lot. So yeah, I offer a lot of emotional support for sure.
So yeah, it's not just like finances, and in terms of that, like, he likes to pay for everything, and like you'll see us when we're like together, like we're literally fighting for the bill, but it's not like I'm with him because he only provides me with like financial support. Like, I think he's actually a really good partner. Like, we communicate really well, and he's emotionally supported me through a lot of things.
Okay, but you cook for him and you do like cleaning and stuff like that.
We both clean,
You guys
but
both
in
clean.
terms of like cooking, he doesn't know how to cook.
So
Yeah.
you do a little bit
Yeah.
more. So you do like cooking and you still provide emotional support to him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
I hope so.
do cooking, you provide emotional support, and you do bring in some like revenue, right?
Yeah.
So there's probably like some boss bitches online that they're like, oh, I make my own money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is this guy gonna give to me? So what would you say to that, like to those girls out there who are trying to be boss bitches and just like very thinking like of men as trash? What do you say to like those girls?
I mean, okay, so for you, I feel like, for you personally, I feel like you've been through a lot, right? So that's why like you're like, my standards are really high. But
Yeah.
also, I think it's like I also feel like you might give up too easily.
Mm-hmm.
Like just hearing stories, okay?
Yeah.
But I think you do give up too easily because, like you said, you keep saying like people can change,
Yeah.
and although they might like not meet your standard at that time, there is like, do you have that communication with them? Like, hey, I think that these things should change, and give them that actual chance, because I feel like once you get the ick, you're like, I'm out,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think that that's a healthy way to be dating. And a lot of like boss bitches, they're that way. They're like, one thing that's wrong with this guy, I'm gonna drop him.
It's because like we can provide for ourselves. So like if anyone comes in and they can't benefit us in a positive aspect, then we're just gonna drop them because we can already handle ourselves. So with me, it's more of like, I want a guy. It's really hard to describe the kind of guy I want now, because the kind of guy I want now is kind of like, I want him to be able to support me, but in a way where it's not financial.
But do
Does
you
that make
think that
sense?
you give that person the chance to actually figure out how they can support you? Because
But he still has to make more than you, right, New?
The thing is, like, I would ideally, yes, want my partner to make more than me, because I provide a lot more, because I can cook for them, I can clean for them, I can provide them with a lot more than just financial. So I would prefer them to make more, but at the same time, if they make less and they can, like, there's different characteristics in a person. Like, if they make less than me but they can cook, they can clean, they're handyman, then I'm all for it, you know. But if they make more, then, you know, at least, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a balance for every relationship. Like, you put a table in front of you, and you put what you can provide to that table, and then you see what that other person can provide, you know, and then you just see.
So if they make 80K, but they're handyman, they can cook, they can clean.
I think if they can provide for themselves, then yeah.
80K, they can provide for themselves.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but you said like.
but
80K
yeah,
is
earlier
not
that's not what you were like, nah, hard pass.
hard pass.
Yeah, hard pass, but
No, but see,
if
that's what, like, you know, you're
But
wishy-washy right
it's
now.
really difficult for me to find a man, because I don't know what I want in a guy, because I feel like at this point I'm gonna just be single because I can provide for myself, my family, and I don't need a man, but at the same time, it gets lonely sometimes.
No, so you're craving that emotional aspect.
Yeah, the physical,
Okay, in terms
emotional, sexual. I don't want to hook up and like fuck around. So I want a partner, but at the same time, it's really difficult for me to like find a partner because I don't know what I want in a partner.
How much time do you give a person before you drop them, though? Like an estimation on an average.
I would say like a month.
Okay, but I think in a month, you can't expect someone to know what your needs are and meet them. Like, let's say,
Dude, the thing is, like, I don't know what my needs are.
But let's say the baseline is he makes enough to support himself,
Uh-huh.
and he knows how to be an adult, like cook, clean,
Yeah.
or whatever, keep his place clean. But you still would pass on him because he doesn't. The thing for you is, even if he checks off those boxes, if he doesn't make enough money, you'll be like, oh, that he doesn't make enough. And then if he does make enough money, he's like, oh, well, he doesn't cook, clean, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think for you, you're literally looking for a reason to not, like, get into a relationship.
Yeah, I know that for sure.
And you're not, like, having that conversation with them. Like, oh, okay, so let's say he only makes 80K.
Mm-hmm.
But he's ambitious and he has plans, and you could see that in his career he is going somewhere.
Yeah.
Would you stick around for the potential, knowing that he does provide you with emotional support, all this stuff?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm currently doing that right now, and it's difficult. So I don't know. I'm just seeing where things go, and I've talked to my brothers about this, aka Tran and Noah, and they said no. So I don't know. Getting advice from my brothers, and they say no. It's really changing my mindset a lot, because I want to be there for a guy at their worst and see them grow and support them, but at the same time I know I'm independent and I can handle my own, so it's really difficult for me to be in a dating stage.
But I think you can also handle your own and still, like, be in a relationship and watch them grow. Like, I think that's just putting, like, maybe you're just putting too much on the relationship in terms of, like, well, he has to be like this so that we could be together. But I think in terms of, like, what you're talking about is, like, we're both growing separately, like, in our own fields, in our own careers, and in life. But it's just having that comfort of doing that with someone. So
I think age comes in very significantly, because a lot of guys I go for are like 30s, in their mid 30s, so I expect them to kind of have their life together at that point.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, yes, age does, like, but if you're saying, like, someone that's our age, 26.
Yeah, I would definitely
think that's
stick
different.
around. Yeah, I would definitely stick around and wait for them to grow. But if they're in their, like, mid 30s and they don't have shit going on for themselves, yeah, that's really
didn't
difficult.
know that.
Yeah,
So,
it was
no,
difficult, yeah.
that's different. I think age is, like, a limiting factor because, well, we already, we know that, like, men progress slower than women in terms of, like, emotionally or whatever the case may be. So yes, if you're dating someone that's older and you see that they don't have their life together, you do feel like off put by that.
Yeah.
So I understand that, and that makes sense, because I think I would feel the same way.
Yeah. I think I'm just going on about my own experience, like my personal experience, because I only date guys like probably like a decade older than me, like in their 30s, because I'm only 26, and like the guys I've dated are like 32, 36, 35, 34, and if they don't have their shit together at that time, then I'm not gonna wait around.
Yeah.
No,
that makes
sense. But if they're like 26 around my age, then I would definitely like give them time, because we're gonna build together.
What is the cap for you in terms of how, like, older than you that you would stick around versus you would dip out?
I think it'd be like 28 since I'm 26.
Okay, so only 2 years.
Yeah.
I said Stephanie should be a host. She's doing a very great job.
Yeah, I think we're
making my job a lot easier.
At this point.
Oh, sorry. I just have a lot of questions.
Yeah, no.
No, I think it's good. So what's the cap, New?
No, she said 28.
28.
Yeah, maybe like 2 years older than me, like in their 20s.
But like, what about like mid 30s?
I would say if you're in your mid 30s, I'm not gonna lie, you
together.
have to have your shit together, like at like 90% or 80.
I think 2 years above you is cutting it a little short, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think. Okay, so I think for me, in terms of dating older, I think my cap is always 4 years older, and I'm okay with like growing with somebody if they're 4 years older, but anything like 5, 6, 7, maybe not. But that's just because, like I said, like for boys, they kind of tend to figure things out a little later.
Yeah.
Because again, that just goes back to like them not being super emotional and introspective. Like I think in terms of growth, like that just comes with them being more like self-aware, and not a lot of like guys are self-aware up until they hit a certain point, until they've had certain life experiences and they're like, shit, if I want to turn this around, I gotta figure it out. So that's like that, and again, that comes with age. So I think giving someone a 2-year buffer above you, that I don't think that's enough time.
So with that being said, do you think like that 2-year buffer, it kind of limits, you're kind of limiting yourself with the amount of guys that you could possibly date? Like the window is very tight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if a guy's in his 30s or like mid 30s, I would expect him to kind of have his life together, because at that age I would want a family, kids, marriage, everything else like that. So I don't want my kids to grow up and have their dad being like 40 years old when they're like 1 year old.
But you did say that like guys who are in their 30s have their lives together a little bit more than like guys in their 20s or mid 20s or even late 20s.
Yeah.
Right? So you prefer a guy who's 28 rather than a guy who's like mid 30s?
It depends on like where they are in life. Because if they're in their mid 30s and they're not where they are in life, then I don't want to pursue that. But if they are still figuring it out and like they're like high 20s, then I would still stick around and like help them and support them. But yeah, it really depends on the age.
Okay. So I guess like what I want to wrap this up is that like as you progress more in your financial capability, then you find it a little bit hard to find a guy who really meets your needs, right? Okay.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that show Beef on Netflix?
I saw a few episodes.
I saw a few episodes, yeah.
You know, like, have you seen it?
No.
So the woman, or the mom, the wife, she owns like a business and she makes a lot of money, and the husband and the dad, he takes care of the kid. He does art, so he doesn't make that much money, and she feels that disconnect with him where she's very stressed out about work and all the meetings and stuff, and he doesn't connect with her on the same way, especially when she talks about her depression. So there's a moment in the show when they're like touching hands, and she talks about how like she has been feeling depression for a long time, and he doesn't understand it basically. And so I feel like that's how New would be in the future, like trying to find a mate. She would want somebody that can understand her in her struggles in her career. So she doesn't want to be dealing with somebody that doesn't even like understand where she's coming from when she's being vulnerable. So I feel like it'd be pretty hard for you to find somebody that's compatible with you, especially since you have the higher standards and you kind of want like a higher income threshold and everything too.
So making more as a woman, then it makes it a little bit harder to find that right soulmate or the guy who's like really the one. So that's why I kind of like really agree with this video, because I feel like society might have construed everything to a point where that women think they need to be making a lot more, and then it's actually making the window a lot tighter, because as women make a lot more, then they would expect a guy who's making equal or more. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing that a woman can make a lot, but in the sense of like standards and all that such, it could be a little bit limiting. It could be constraining where it's like, okay, like my options are only like probably like the top 5% or whatever. All right.
Do you think though that women strive to make more because they don't want to rely on a man, because they feel like let's say financials are off the table?
I don't agree. I don't disagree with that. I definitely think that there are a lot of women out there who are struggling, because it's like before they even met a guy, then it's like they need to take care of themselves. Maybe they haven't met the guy yet who's just going to take care of them. So they need to take care of themselves. But in that process, if you make yourself a high earner, like 100K at least, then you're kind of screwing yourself in like the love life, because you might limit yourself to, oh, I want a guy who's like above me or equal or better. But in New's case, she's like, okay, I want a guy maybe like a little bit less, but he could have to provide like other things on the table, like be able to cook or whatever bullshit like that. So
I think that's also, but society.
But it comes
though.
with the age too. Like my most like significant part is the age. Because you can be 28 and you can be making less than me. I'll be fine with that. But if you're in your like mid 30s, I expect you to kind of
See, that's the key word, the expectation.
Yeah.
Right? So then, because you expect that, then it limits your pool of guys that you could choose from, especially like guys who are good looking and fuckboy looking as you would want, right? You would want a guy who's fuckboy so
Yeah.
you could humble him. So I think that makes it a little bit harder.
And I think that's okay because I'd rather have my standards set high than settle.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Then you might be at a high standard to a point where you don't ever find that guy, and then that could be detrimental to you. And then if you're at a point where you're above 35 and you still haven't found that guy, because it's a very slim percentage. So if it's a slim percentage, then you might never find that guy because you only come across a certain amount of people every day. Then if you never find that guy, then you'll be 35, and then men prefer girls that are younger than them.
Quote unquote less
it'd
desirable.
it would be a little bit harder. I didn't make those rules. I mean, it's just like what society thinks because of the whole like ability to get pregnant and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
So
thought
makes
about that, and then I just thought that at that case, then I'm just gonna be single and like have like 23 dogs.
Would you like
That's a set.
compromise though? Like there are things that maybe this person doesn't check off, but would you compromise on that, or would you say that you're stubborn in terms of like these are hard, like this is a hard checklist, they gotta do everyone?
It's like I've tried that once in my past relationships where like a guy makes less than me and they also can't cook. So in my head, I'm just like, what can you provide
Well,
to
no,
the
I'm
table?
not saying like compromise on everything. I'm just saying like certain aspects of it, because like we were talking about earlier, when you say that, oh, this guy checks off this box, but he doesn't check off these boxes. Like, would you compromise on maybe like one or two of those boxes so that like you're not alone? Because you say that you are craving like an emotional attachment to someone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you did mention that you don't
Yeah.
need a guy for financial support.
Yeah. So like,
as long as he could like financially support himself, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think a guy could probably financially support himself about like 80K.
Yeah.
So earlier you did say like 80K is not okay. So
Yeah.
if he makes 80K and he's able to give that loving affection to you, like would you be able?
If
to
he's like
compromise with
like in his 20s, then yes. If he's in his 30s, then no.
oh yeah, there's a caveat. She was
Yeah.
like age.
The
is a
age is
limiting
very,
factor.
very important to me because what like those check boxes that Stephanie had just addressed to me.
that? Would you date a younger guy though, like in his 20s?
I have dated a younger guy, and funny or not, he was actually mature than a lot of 30-year-olds I've dated. But
You're 27, right?
26.
26.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're 30, then would you still date like a 22-year-old?
It's a thing.
Something like that.
The thing with me is like if I have a box, right, and like every guy checks off of it, or like they miss one, but I check off of all of them, I'd rather date myself at that point. So I'd rather be single and date myself, be independent, be happy, no
So
stress.
you have to find another new.
Yes, you have to. I have to find another me, but like, and that's like what you said in the top 5%. So it's
Wait,
difficult.
it's not really top 5, because if you date guys and girls, it's still like, you know.
So you're gonna be lesbian at that point?
I was actually bisexual like not too long ago.
She still
So,
is.
so yeah.
You would.
So the percentage, like even though we were taking out men and stuff, it's still 10%.
Yeah,
So 1 in 10. So we'll go outside, talk to 10 people right now, and then we'll figure it out.
yeah.
Okay.
Wait, I want to know the male's perspective on this.
Yeah,
Like, do you
yeah.
guys have, like, because we were talking about like women's standards on this. Like, what is a guy's standard?
What
In
do you,
terms of dating.
Noah and Saint, what do you guys think about like if New were to just be like single the rest of her life, and if she were never to be able to find like that guy because
I
she'd
actually-
rather prefer to be single?
I think it's actually okay for a dude to have her own standards. I think everyone is entitled to their own standards. I also think it goes both ways. Like there's a lot of guys who go to the gym and work out, and they don't want to be with a girl who's over a certain BMI, and if they're really fit and they want to also be with a girl who's really fit, and like American society, like 2/3 of people are overweight right now. Girls that are that fit might also be in the top 5%. So they're also limiting themselves at that point. And I would say to that guy, who, like, go ahead, have those standards. I think having standards is okay. And the guy that's in the video, he's talking about like girls making more money and they can't find guys who make more money than them. I think that's all okay. You know, like it's guys are working out for their own health, making themselves better, and I think girls are making more money for themselves to. Everyone wants to make more money. It's good for you. So I don't think
if you were be single the rest of your life past the age of 35, you'd be okay with that.
Okay, like let's say I'm one of those gym bros, right? And I'm surrounded by girls I find unattractive. I could see myself in a world where that gym bro stays single because he's surrounded by all these women he finds unattractive, and I think that would be better than him settling for a girl he finds unattractive.
But would you be able to do that?
Me
just
personally?
Stay with the gym bros and just be single the rest of your life.
Oh, could I be single for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
If I never met a girl that matched my standards?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather do that. I don't want to be stuck in a relationship where I see the girl every day and I'm reminded of why I'm settling and these things that don't match my criteria and then just end up resenting her. I'd rather be single at that point. So yeah, I do think that's fine.
Okay.
But going back to his point though, he's saying that there's girls making that money and then they see guys that are turning to these passport bros and they're complaining about those guys. I think at that point, then those girls shouldn't be complaining. If you want to have high standards and you're going to limit yourself, then you can do that. That's something you can do. But if you see guys not able to get you and then they go off into another country, find another girl, then you have to let them do it. You can't complain about it because it's like a free market, right? Like
yeah.
It's a
That's a good point, dude.
Yeah, it's competition. They're creating like more and more competition amongst the guys. That's fine. But then those guys that want to go off and they can't compete, that's their prerogative. You can't complain about that. So let them do that.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess
Your
it's
question
like,
was about her?
Yeah.
Or
About her, like just being able to find someone.
being able to find someone?
He knows me well because
Yeah.
he's my big brother. Yeah.
I feel like in big little brother. I feel like I could see New with somebody that it would have to be something where she finds that compatibility with and companionship. I feel like that's what she's looking for the most right now, and just being financially stable is like that's like the bare minimum. I mean, I feel like that. Yeah, that is the bare minimum. Like she's looking for that companionship, and there's a lot of guys out there, and you know they might have some aspects, but then they might be kind of weirdos in other aspects, you know. So that's kind of where she's been running into. Like she meets some guys, and she'll have that companionship. They'll make some good money, but then there turns out they're kind of weird.
oh yeah, we know about that one.
But I feel like her ideal. I feel like the most likely scenario is she finds somebody that probably makes her at like how much she makes or more, but then it's that companionship that she's been looking for. She's not gonna settle for somebody that she doesn't have that companionship with, and if it's somebody that she can't like treat. I feel like she's gonna hold them to the standard that she holds to me and Tran. Like, they have to be as like that compatibility in terms of like conversation and like comfortability. That's such a Jesus Christ. That is a word. Comfortability. Yeah, she has to be that kind of like with me and him. Like, yeah. So she'll be finding somebody that she can be. She'll looking for a friend, but also a mate. But
I want a best friend.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it's okay. So to just break it down, like, I just want somebody that can match my energy and match my vibe, but at the same time, you know, like, as a person, I can't help but subconsciously kind of belittle some people that I've been with because they're either too weird, they're either too.
See, that's the thing. Like, I always
aspects,
get the feedback from you that every guy you've been with, they're toxic.
Yeah.
I was toxic. The guy you dated before, when we went to that the table, he was toxic.
Wait, which one was that?
Another guy was toxic when we were talking.
Wait, which one was that?
The one, you know, the one I can't really talk about. The accident, that whole mess. Okay, that one was toxic.
There was a lot. I can't
There's a lot of
remember.
toxicity, and also the guy that you were sleeping with the time that we were talking, you also mentioned that he was toxic. So, do you feel like, going back to like what Stephanie said, do you feel like there might be something that is hindering your mind where you think, I'm trying to look for all the thing that's like wrong about this guy?
Yeah, I think like when it comes to those guys, like during that duration, I kind of tend to look at their flaws more than their like pros. Like more look at their cons and their pros. So that's what I meant by like kind of subconsciously belittling them, because I know my worth and I know that they do not meet up to my standards, and that's why I kind of like push them away. And the more you push a guy away, it's really weird because it's human nature. Like I don't know
They
why,
come back.
but like when I push a
They keep
guy
coming.
away, like they tend to like try harder.
Yeah.
Like a recent guy I was dating. I'm sorry, but
I noticed that with you though. I noticed that, and then I was like, all right, I gotta get the fuck out.
Smart man.
I really-
Smart man.
But that's like what they were going on earlier with like having someone that's like not attainable, and then you get that person.
Yes, it's
and then
like
you're
everybody
wow.
loves the chase. They love the challenge. Like you don't want to play a game on easy mode, right? You're gonna want to play it on hard mode because easy mode is
I
just.
think it's different for guys because for guys, it's about sex. If a girl gives like sex to us too easily, we're turned off. By
yes,
that.
exactly.
But, like for example, if their personality was very kind and loving, then we'd be like, okay, like this person is someone that I would consider getting with. But of course, if she gave sex up too easily, then we'd be like, all right, that's kind of a turn off.
Exactly. That's why I don't hook up with them. Yeah.
We still kind of would consider her if she was like kind and caring. But if the guy was just like not really giving it to you too easily and he's kind of being toxic, then you would kind of be attracted to that as a woman then, right? That's what you're saying?
For me, no, because I know my standards and I know my worth, so I just walk away from that toxicity. But the reason why like a lot of guys are toxic is because I give them too much freedom, and I kind of like have this like mentality of like I don't care what you do, I don't know or want to know what you do, so they kind of like become very controlling.
You mentioned that you like the chase, right? So what is the chase exactly that you like?
I think the chase is like, no, not toxicity, but like a man who knows his worth. Because when a man knows his worth, like he kind of develops a chase for you to go for, if that makes any sense.
That's not the same as what you said earlier. You said earlier that you like when a guy doesn't really give you that much attention. And then when you don't really give him that much attention, then he starts to want you a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of like ups
So
and
that
downs,
where
right?
is the toxic part comes by. And when I usually don't give a guy too much attention, that means like I'm not interested enough, and they kind of chase after that. And
Do you think the toxicity though is like a action reaction kind of thing? Like, do you think that you do something to make them that way, or like because
no, I think I
'cause
definitely do something
it's
to
like-
make them that
yeah,
way.
no, 'cause
Like,
it's like a two-way street, right?
Yeah. Like I definitely know that like I don't play the game, but like I do subconsciously play the game right, where I know that if you are too easy, then a guy would not want you. But if you play a little bit, not like play, but if you make yourself unavailable, then they're gonna want you more, because people want what they can't have.
Here's the thing I'll mention. When we were kind of talking, with that unavailability, I felt like the most I've ever been very insecure was only a few like girls that I was talking to, and so that was probably one of them. And so I feel like a woman could really drive a guy really crazy or toxic if she really pushes those buttons.
Yeah.
So is it possible that because you push this guy to the edge, then he's going to become toxic
Yeah.
in that sense?
I definitely want to take accountability for that because 4 years ago or 3 years, 2 years ago or a year ago, I do have that trait in me where I do make myself, I do make it clear to the guys I'm talking to that I'm talking to multiple people, so they know that they're in competition.
Didn't do that with me. The fuck?
Yes, I did. You were also,
didn't.
yes, you were, you knew about the other guy too.
No, he told me, and then you were like, no, I didn't do anything.
Yes, and I was toxic because I tried to play mind games with you and I tried to manipulate you at the same time. So, therefore, yeah. You fell into my manipulation.
So what he said was
very well.
right. You just denied it, and then you
No.
confirmed
4
it. You
years.
denied it,
This
and
was
then
4 years
confirmed
ago,
it.
though. 4 years ago was different. 4 years
No,
ago
I
was
understand that
different.
now, but you just said, he said you didn't do that with me, and you're like, yes, I did, and then no, I didn't.
No, I didn't do, like, I didn't lie to him. That's the thing. I didn't lie to him.
You withheld the truth. Is that considered lying, guys?
I didn't withhold
No,
the truth.
I
I would tell him
Alright,
that,
so-
yes, I'm going to Palm Springs with this guy.
Well, okay, like I was talking more so about like the time where I had both your guys' locations and you guys were on top of each other. and then literally on top of each other, like actually, on top and on top.
Where the
They're-
circle's moving, like
where the circle is moving, and, like, both on tops, And then so I asked, I was like, oh, I saw your guys' location, and then you're like, oh no, he just slept over. Like I kept the door open, blah blah blah, and like my dad knows, like he's just a friend and stuff like that.
And
So-
that was true.
So you
I
guys
didn't-
never had sex?
We did. Not at my house, though.
Oh, so she's not lying though. During that time that you asked,
Yeah.
he probably did just sleep
Yeah.
over.
And I was honest about that.
So
There
she
were-
was technically honest.
There were many times where men have slept over at my house, and I've not done shit with them.
Facts.
Because, yeah.
Okay, we'll let the viewers be the judge of that.
Oh, no, I don't want anyone to
suppose,
watch. I'm going to become single.
know, put it in the comments.
Comment down
comment below
what
if you
guys
believe
think.
news.
You've been a victim. Manipulation.
Yeah, but I just wanna say everyone respect, our guests. No toxic comments. Whatever the past is.
There
is the
will be.
past. And definitely respect and comment down below what you guys think. I think we're gonna end it here, guys. Do you guys have anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap it up?
I just want to say that, like, 4 years ago, I was a different person. That's really it. I'm a changed person now. So
Okay.
if you're single and you make over $300K a year, hit me up. And you're
Wait.
an engineer, hit me
Like
up.
300K?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Holla.
So no 80K, guys.
If you're 25, you make... Actually, no. Never mind. Yeah.
Wait, continue. Wait, what?
No, I said if you're 28, you make 80K, then yeah, you can... I'll give you a chance, but...
What about if you're over 30? How much?
If
is
you're
that?
over 30, you have to make at least 250K.
350K.
Yeah.
Wait, so we talked about like the check boxes for girls. I want to know the check boxes for
Yeah,
guys.
the check boxes for guys. What's up with that?
Wait,
Like
Oh
what
yeah,
are what are
I was gonna ask about that.
is there more steps?
Tran. Let's start with Tran. So
I want to know Noah's too.
yeah.
Yeah.
as the legendary super retired fuckboy alpha male that you are, what separates a woman from being just fucking versus, for wifey material?
Oh man.
Did she have to make a certain amount? Do men care about like how much a woman makes?
No, I actually don't care much for that. I think,
What if she makes nothing, and then she doesn't do anything at home? She just looks pretty.
is that a deal breaker? Like, I could see that working if she's checks all the other boxes.
But what are the other boxes that's what we're asking?
So my number one thing is communication. If the girl cannot communicate, as in she has a problem with something and she can't bring it up to me, that's it. That's like my biggest deal breaker. So if she can do that, she's already leagues ahead of 90% of women out there, because communication is very difficult. 90% of people, actually. Yeah. So that's my number one thing, communication. Then other than that, it's like, obviously, yeah, looks is like initial attraction. So that's important in the beginning. And then someone that has a sense of humor too. Sense of humor is very, very important to me too.
So if she's making like zero amount of dollars, then that's okay, as long as she met that criteria you just said.
Okay, like that's okay, but then there are also girls who don't make a lot of money or don't make any money at all, and then they have that requirement of, oh, I want a guy to make six figures. If they're like that kind of girl, then no, that's an automatically no, because
So
like,
you would never. That's why you would never date new.
no,
person?
like if a girl's like new, where they actually have that money to back it up, and they want a guy that makes more, then that's fine. But a girl who makes nothing and wants a guy who's making six figures, to me, that's a big no. Like,
Have you met a lot of girls like that?
no, but I see a lot online, and that shit pisses me off. It's like,
Same. No, I've actually encountered a lot of women.
yeah, it's like
that
a
don't
girl.
make a lot.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
like a
they
dude
expect
who's
more.
like really obese, and he's like, I want a girl that's like a model. It's like, this makes no sense. Like you
No,
know-
but for some reason women can do that, but we as men we can't do that. Like if
exactly, yeah.
if a man is like
Yeah.
obese as fuck, then
and
you can't have those standards.
yeah, so that's a big no for me. So yeah, for me the big ones are communication, sense of humor, and then looks.
Before we get to Noah, I just want to mention this is from the Hive Law. So 4.3% of American households make $300,000.
That's households.
Per year. Yeah, that's households. So
Yeah.
we're being generous. So if this is let's go back to over here, the Hive Law, making $300K a year, puts you in the top 2.3% of the U.S. population, and 0.4% of women earn more than 300K per year. So if we do the math, 2.3 minus 0.4 is about 1.9% of men that make 300K per year. So, are you pretty confident that you could find in the 1.9% of U.S. population a man that is not obese, pretty fit, and has a good personality, meets your criteria, can make the emotional connection that you have? 1.9%.
I'm gonna be real. Like, I'm not trying to not attack anybody, but yes, my last relationship, he was a millionaire, and we did have a very strong emotional bond and physical bond, but we were just incompatible because of the age gap. So I do believe that I can find someone pretty much like him, but more. So that's why my standards are pretty high right now, because I know what I'm capable of and what I can obtain in terms of men. Girl
So
boss.
you're getting there. You're getting hotter, right? Like that hot and cold game? Getting hotter, closer.
Yes,
as
yeah.
you progress.
So I
Yeah.
know what can I already obtain, already have in my hands, but I know there are many other guys like that. It's just I have to be patient. I have to just wait and not really force anything.
Why do you think you can attain that? What qualities do you have that makes you desirable for a man?
I think I bring a lot to the table in terms of I can provide. I'm very nurturing. I can cook. I can provide for my own. Basically anything I do, because I grew up in a hut in Vietnam. So basically growing up, my parents have taught me how to be a handyman, how to cook, how to be a wife, how to make money, how to be independent, basically. So knowing all of that, I just tend to kind of gravitate towards my independence. So if a man comes in, he benefits me more, then I'm gonna go for it. But if not, then I'm just gonna stay single and not settle.
All right, I see Stephanie kind of getting tired. All right, so
No.
last thing, Noah, getting back to you. What do you look for in a woman?
In a woman?
What would you separate? This girl is for sex versus this girl's for wifey.
I feel for wifey, she would have to be somebody that's they have passions, they have hobbies and stuff that they like to work on outside of our time. So
What about money?
Money, the whole making $0, asking for six figures, that's definitely a turn off. Like we said earlier, it's kind of what are you bringing to the table? Then okay, you must be a really good cook, or you gotta be you gotta be doing something to compensate for that. But it's no, I'm for money, having a job. I feel just having a job that you don't hate is my standard. It doesn't really have to be a number value, but it's more of if we're both coming home from work, are you going to be complaining about work the whole time, or are
What's
we both
the minimum
happy?
amount that she has to make?
Minimum amount?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a minimum amount.
What's the ideal amount that you would be happy?
Ideal amount?
Yeah.
I feel ideal amount would be any money that she can make so that she can spend for her own, if she wants to go buy. If she wants something that she could buy it herself too, where she can make enough money where she can make her own financial decisions. She doesn't necessarily need to be making, we don't necessarily need to be making 50-50 on the check or anything like that, but I don't want to be a sugar daddy, what I'm saying? It's just enough to where you can buy the things that you want without having to need my credit card to do so.
You're confident with the cost of living in California that you could take care of all those needs if she was making just minimum wage?
Just making minimum, it depends, because
Mortgage and all that stuff.
Right now I wouldn't say I'm ready for a mortgage or anything like that. I make pretty good money, but I don't make enough to buy a house and support a family. Right now that's pretty especially with the way the economy is going and inflation and everything, the cost of living right now in California, especially in OC too, it's a little ridiculous. But I feel just I don't think right now I'm ready to be starting a family or anything like that. But in the future, I feel
How old are you again?
I'm 25.
25. Oh shit, you're pretty young.
Yeah.
25.
Damn. Okay. Yeah.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 29. Yeah.
That checks out. Yeah, it's about the same age.
You're older than me, right? You're 31.
30. Yeah.
30. Oh shit.
Turns 31 next year.
Okay. All right. Well, since dude, this shit was 2 hours, so.
That's fine.
All right. Any last short comments before we end it here?
I just want to know what my red flags were 4 years ago.
Oh.
I'm very
We're
curious.
gonna go there on podcast.
It's
All
gonna
right.
be another 30 minutes.
You got
Red-
a long ass list.
All right.
He's got notes out.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't trying to say this, but you know, since you asked, I'll just say it.
Yes. Go ahead.
But the red flags was like, a man can tell if you're talking to like multiple guys, and then you did mention that to me. My impression was that you mentioned to me that you were not talking to other guys, and when you would like kind of go MIA and stuff like that, I could kind of see there's like a big red flag, and then that makes a man feel very insecure when a man sees that the woman is not communicating, and then she went out to like a club and stuff like that.
Is that why you screamed at me in the car?
I don't recall seeing you in the car.
Or you are calling me and then like accusing me of stuff? Yeah.
I don't recall that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, so then when a girl goes MIA and then it's like clubbing and stuff like that, then there's definitely red flags. And then there's also like a lot of talk about how women that have boyfriends, they shouldn't be able to go out to like the clubs and stuff like that. I kind of disagree with that. I mean, if you trust your mate enough, she should be able to go anywhere. And then as long as you have that trust with her, then it's safe. You know, of course there's going to be a lot of guys trying to fuck her and stuff like that, but as long as you trust her and then she shows that you can actually trust her and she gives you details where it's like, okay, I'm doing this and this, and any guy would like a brain too would expect that for himself to give to a woman too. So back then when I was in a relationship, I would go out to like the club sometimes too, and I had a girlfriend, and then I would tell her like each step, okay, club is done, okay, we just got to club, okay, we're gonna go after party here, blah blah blah, okay, I just got home. So I think it's very important, especially when you go to those dangerous places like clubbing where everyone is like subject to being like fucking sluts and stuff like that, fucking players. So it's very important for those places where you give those kind of like reminders, hey, I'm doing this, and just check in. And I didn't feel that, and even with like other women that failed to do that, there's also, you know, not a sense of security that I would have. I think that's very important. That goes a long way for a man, because with women that go out to clubs, it's practically all these guys are hitting on you. All these guys, you have a lot of options. You could decide if you want to fuck this guy. And whereas like a guy that goes to a club, he has to do a lot to like really please the girl, and it's a lot harder for a guy. So yeah, I mean, for me, I would still check in with my girlfriend and stuff like that. But if the girlfriend's not doing that, then that's a big red flag, especially if the location of this one guy is also on top of the location with this other girl. Then you start having a little bit of imagery in your head that goes on, like, oh, are they actually on top of each other? Like, you know. So yeah, that's basically it.
I mean, would you say that you had too high of an expectations for me during that time, or no?
No, I think it's pretty standardized because, as I said, it's very easy for a woman when she goes out to a club or like parties.
Yeah. So
if she decides, oh, I want to fuck this guy, she could literally pull a guy to like the bathroom, start making out with him. If he's single, right? He'll be down to fuck.
So you're saying like during that time when we were just talking, right? I was obligated to tell you my whereabouts, right?
It's not like obligation. It's just more of like a red flag. And once that red flag gets breached, then I start going like, okay, it's like a check mark for my red flag for deciding if this woman is the one that is going to be loyal to me long term. So that's something a lot of men would consider.
So with your definition of talking, like, do you feel like the women need to tell you her whereabouts and like what she's doing while you guys are just talking, not dating?
Do you think that's like mutual respect though? Like that's just like having respect.
I feel
for
like
I think there's no obligation. It's just more like to the man that, okay, like this, and you're talking about talking. For me, like my impression was that we were kind of dating. So it's different personas. Like, so if you guys are just kind of talking, then yeah, there's not really like that much of an obligation. But if you guys are a little bit like dating, you kind of portray that you're exclusive with me or whatever, then yeah, there's some sort of obligation. And if that obligation is breached, then it turns into a red flag. And then that's when I start thinking, okay, I'm going to start considering my other alternatives.
I think like with our misunderstanding is that like, I thought that I was under the impression that we were talking and you were under the impression that we were dating. So if we were dating, then I definitely would have a lot.
Yeah,
of,
I guess like talking and dating, I think there's like a middle in between.
Yeah.
So there's like a exclusively talking. Like you can make it seem kind of apparent to someone like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm talking to you, only you. So
So what did
guys
you
are
think we
talking, but
were?
exclusive. I
Exclusive?
thought we were exclusively talking.
But we're like, we
Not,
never
like,
had that
in the dating
talk
phase,
though.
but kind of in the middle.
We never had that talk.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that
So
talk
there
is
was like
pretty
a
important.
misunderstanding. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
And then we will conclude that right here.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you guys for watching the Controvert podcast. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave your comments below what you think about whatever New said, whatever we talked about in that like previous leave your comment below. I totally forgot. It was like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. If I'm dating you right now, please don't watch this, and like, please don't judge me on this. This is 4 years ago, so yeah. Just saying. To all out there, just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just kidding. Two. I'm saying two. All
right. Like this video.
I'll see you in a bit.
Subscribe. Thanks for watching Controvert podcast. See you guys next time.